An email arrives. It's from someone new. Someone who seems to understand you in a way no one quite has in years. Their profile photo is warm. Their words are warmer. And what you almost didn't notice could have cost you everything. This isn't a story about being lonely or naive or careless. It's a story about how a complete stranger can build something that feels entirely real, one message at a time, until the moment it stops being real at all. Here's how it works. It usually starts somewhere ordinary, a dating site, a comment on a photo, an email that slipped past the noise of an ordinary afternoon. The person on the other end is patient, more patient than almost anyone you've met in years. They ask questions. They remember the answers. They mirror your interests, your sense of humor, even your losses. Within days, the conversation stops feeling like chatting with a stranger and starts feeling like talking to someone who finally truly gets you. There's a name for that. It's called love bombing, and despite the name, it isn't affection. It's a tactic. It's a flood of attention and admiration delivered fast enough that it slips past your usual instincts before those instincts have a chance to catch up. Soon, the relationship moves off the platform where you met. A phone number gets exchanged, maybe a different messaging app. There's always a reason: better privacy, fewer ads. The original site is, quote, buggy or unreliable. What's really happening is simpler than that. The conversation is moving somewhere with no records, no reviews, and no way for you or anyone who cares about you to check who this person really is. Then comes a story. They work overseas often, on an oil rig, in the military, on a humanitarian mission somewhere with bad signal and strict rules about phones. They can never quite manage a video call. The connection always drops at the worst moment. There's always a plausible reason, and each one, taken alone, sounds perfectly normal. But they talk to you every single day, sometimes for hours, and somewhere inside those hours you stop being two strangers and start being something else entirely. This part can stretch on for weeks, sometimes months. There's no rush from the other side because the relationship itself is the setup. Every shared photo, every late night conversation, every small kindness is building something that will make the next part almost unthinkable to question. And then gently an emergency appears. A medical bill, a frozen bank account, a shipment of equipment stuck at customs that just needs one small fee released. They don't ask for much, not at first. That's the point. The first ask is small enough to feel reasonable. It's the second and third ask weeks later that tell the real story. Why does this work on intelligent, careful people? Why does it work on anyone at all? Researcher Monica Whitty, who has spent years studying romance scam victims, found something that surprises most people. The people most likely to fall for this aren't unusually trusting or unusually lonely. They're often simply good at forming emotional connections, the very same trait that makes any healthy relationship work in the first place. The scam doesn't exploit a weakness in you, it exploits a strength. There's a name for part of what keeps people in it too. It's called the sunk cost fallacy. Once you've invested weeks or months of conversation, of feeling truly seen by someone, walking away starts to feel like losing something real, even after doubt has already crept in. The more time and emotion already spent, the harder it becomes to believe any of it might not be true. The Federal Trade Commission has tracked this pattern for years, and the numbers are sobering. Romance scams cost people in the United States hundreds of millions of dollars annually. The FBI's Internet Crime Complaint Center, which collects fraud reports from across the country, consistently ranks romance scams among the costliest categories reported by the victims over the age of 60. So what should you actually watch for? Not vague suspicion, specific signals. First, they profess deep feelings remarkably fast, often within days, sometimes before you've had a single real unedited conversation. Second, they always have a reason they can't video call or meet in person. A bad connection, a strict job, a sudden deployment that conveniently never ends. Third, at some point, however small at first, they ask for money, gift cards, or financial information. They ask you to keep it private from family or friends. That request for secrecy is doing just as much work as the request for money. A real partner has no reason to ask you to hide a conversation from the people who love you. Any one of these signals on its own might mean very little. People really do work overseas. Connections really do fail. Long-distance relationships are real, and plenty of them are entirely genuine. But together, in sequence, they form the shape of something designed. Not someone falling for you, someone working a plan. Here's one thing to do starting today. If someone you've only ever met online ever asks you for money, stop and tell one person you trust before you respond. Not after the money is sent, before. That single pause, saying it out loud to another person before anything moves, breaks the isolation the entire scheme depends on to survive. You don't need to swear off connection. You don't need to stop talking to people you meet online or assume every kind word hides a trick. You just need one person standing beside you before any money does. An email arrives. It's from someone new. And this time you know exactly what you're looking at. If you found this video helpful, consider giving this video a like and subscribing to the channel. Every Sunday and Wednesday I break down real scams in plain English so you can stay informed and stay protected. Until next time, stay smart, stay safe, and stay one step ahead of the scammers.